Age 65, the magic number for retirement. But will you have enough of this? Let's find out.
Let me tell you something that took me way too long to figure out. Retirement is not an age, it is a number. Most Americans are out here planning their entire financial lives around turning 65 or 67, not because that's when they want to stop working, but because that's the number the government gave them. That's the number their parents used. That's the number their HR department put on the 401k enrollment form. Nobody asked if that number was right for you. Nobody ran the actual math. In this video, I'm going to introduce you to two guys, same age, same income, same starting point in 2026. One of them is going to retire at 45. The other one is going to retire at 67. And by the end of this video, you're going to know exactly which path you're on right now, and exactly what it would take to change it. Let's get into it. Marcus and Derek are 29 years old. They work at the same software company in Austin, Texas. They both make $95,000 a year before taxes. After federal and state taxes, they each take home about $6,100 a month. Same apartment complex, same Friday lunch spot, same fantasy football league. From the outside, they are living essentially the same life. But in January of 2026, something happens to Marcus. He's sitting at his desk at 11 p.m. on a Tuesday, not because there's a deadline, just because there's always something, and he Googles something he's never Googled before. How much money do I actually need to retire? What he finds changes everything. Derek, meanwhile, is watching Netflix and planning a trip to Vegas. He's got $14,000 in his 401k, $2,200 in a savings account, and a very clear plan to figure out retirement when he's older. He's 29. He's got time. Or so he thinks. Here's what Marcus finds. And this is the piece of information that most Americans go their entire working lives without ever seeing. It's called the 4% rule, and it works like this. Financial researchers studied decades of market data and found that if you withdraw 4% of your investment portfolio every year in retirement, adjusting for inflation, your money has historically lasted 30 years or more without running out, even through crashes, even through recessions, even through everything. So the question isn't how old are you? The question is, how much do you spend per year, and do you have 25 times that amount invested? That's the formula. Annual spending multiplied by 25 equals your retirement number. $50,000 per year spending times 25 equals $1,250,000 retirement number. $40,000 per year times 25 equals $1 million retirement number. $60,000 per year times 25 equals $1,500,000 retirement number. That's it. That's the whole math. If you have 25 times your annual spending invested in the market, you can stop working at any age, and statistically, your money will outlast you. Marcus stares at this for a long time. Then he opens a spreadsheet. Marcus currently spends about $48,000 a year. Rent, food, car, subscriptions, going out, everything. That means his retirement number is approximately $1.2 million. He has $18,000 saved across his 401k and a Roth IRA he opened last year. He is starting almost from zero at 29, and he wants to retire at 45. That gives him 16 years. Can $18,000 grow to $1.2 million in 16 years? Not by itself, not even close. So Marcus asks a better question. What would I need to save every month to hit $1.2 million in 16 years, assuming a 10% average annual return from index funds? The answer is approximately $3,200 a month. On a $6,100 take-home salary, that's 52% of his income going directly to investments every single month. That is not a small number. That is a life restructuring number. That is a, I need to look at every single thing I spend money on number. Marcus does not panic. Marcus gets interested. $3,200 per month required monthly investment to hit $1.2 million in 16 years at 10% average annual return. 52% of take-home income, his required savings rate. $1,200,000 his FIRE number, 25 times his annual $48,000 spending.
I want to stop here and explain the most important concept in early retirement, because it's not income, it's not investment returns, it's savings rate. And most people have never thought about it seriously. Your savings rate is the percentage of your income you invest, and it determines not just how fast your wealth grows, it determines how many years you have to work before you never have to work again. Here's what the math actually looks like across different savings rates, assuming a 10% average annual market return. 10% savings rate? You'll need about 40+ years to retire. 20% savings rate? About 32 years to retirement. 35% savings rate? About 22 years to retirement. 50% savings rate? About 16 years to retirement. 65% savings rate? About 11 years to retirement. 75% savings rate, about 8 years to retirement. Read those numbers again. The average American saves about 4 to 6% of their income. At that rate, you're working until you literally cannot work anymore. But here's the thing that most savings rate conversations miss. Increasing your savings rate does two things at once. It grows your investments faster, and it lowers the amount you need to retire, because a person who spends less needs a smaller number to be free. That double compounding effect is why the math on early retirement is more powerful than it looks on the surface. Marcus goes to work, not on his job, on his spending. His biggest expense is rent, $1,650 a month for a one-bedroom in Austin. He finds a two-bedroom apartment and a coworker looking for a roommate. New rent, $950 a month. Done. His car payment is $480 a month on a lease for a car he bought to impress people whose names he can barely remember. He doesn't buy out the lease. He waits for it to end and buys a used 2021 Honda Civic outright for $17,000 from savings. Car payment? Zero. Insurance drops significantly. Done. He audits every subscription, drops 4, keeps 3, saves $140 a month. Cooks at home 5 nights a week instead of 2, saves $280 a month on food. By the end of February 2026, Marcus has taken his monthly spending from $4,000 down to $2,600. He invests the difference, $3,500 a month, into a 3-account stack that I'm going to break down right now because this is exactly how you do it. Account 1, 401k up to the employer match. Marcus's company matches 4% of his salary. That's $3,800 a year in free money. He contributes exactly enough to capture the full match, not $1 more at this stage. Why? Because he needs flexibility for early retirement, and money locked in a 401k until age 59.5 is not flexible. Account 2, Roth IRA, maxed out. In 2026, the Roth IRA contribution limit is $7,000 a year, $583 a month. Marcus maxes this every year without exception. Why Roth? Because he pays taxes on the money now when his income is relatively moderate. The growth and withdrawals in retirement are completely tax-free, and there are strategies called Roth conversion ladders that let you access this money before 59.5 without penalty. Account 3, taxable brokerage account. Everything left over goes here. No contribution limits, no age restrictions on access. Just VTI, Vanguard Total Stock Market Index Fund, set to auto-invest every month. This is his freedom account, the money he'll actually live on between age 45 and 59.5. Derek, meanwhile, gets a 4% raise in March, $98,800 a year now. He upgrades his apartment, gets a new car, treats himself to a nicer gym membership. He contributes 6% to his 401k because his company matches it and his HR onboarding said that was the recommended amount. He has never looked at what that 6% is actually invested in.
It's sitting in a target date fund with a 0.45% expense ratio that's quietly eating $340 a year in fees on his growing balance. Fees he doesn't know exist because nobody told him to look. Derek is not irresponsible. He's not reckless. He's doing what virtually every American does: earning more, spending more, saving a little, and not running the math. He's 29 years old and already on a path to need every single one of the 38 years between now and 67.
Let's run the numbers side by side. Marcus investing $3,500 a month starting at $18,000. Derek investing about $490 a month, his 6% contribution, starting at $14,000. Both in total market index funds at 10% average annual return. Year 5. Marcus, $285,000. Derek, $92,000. Year 8. Marcus, $530,000. Derek, $160,000. Year 10. Marcus, $740,000. Derek, $215,000. Year 16. Marcus, $1.38 million. Derek, $400,000. At age 45, Marcus hits $1.38 million. His annual spending is $31,200 because he's been living lean for 16 years and genuinely doesn't miss the stuff he cut. His retirement number based on that spending is $780,000. He passed it 2 years earlier than planned. He stops going into the office on a Tuesday in April. Not dramatically, he just doesn't go. He spends that morning making coffee, going for a run, and calling his mom. Derek, at 45, has $400,000. He's not broke, but he is not free. He has 22 more years to go. If I make early retirement sound easy, I'm lying to you. Here are the real challenges, and they are significant. Healthcare. This is the biggest one. In 2026, an individual health insurance plan on the ACA marketplace for a healthy 40-year-old in a major U.S. city costs roughly $400 to $700 a month, depending on the state and coverage level. That's $5,000 to $8,400 a year, a major expense you've probably never budgeted for because your employer paid it. Early retirees need to plan for this explicitly. It changes the number. Lifestyle inflation is invisible. Marcus's plan works because he genuinely reduced his spending and stopped caring about keeping up. Most people say they'll do that and don't. The math is easy. The psychology is hard. If you can't honestly tell yourself what you'll give up and mean it, the savings rate target on paper becomes fiction in practice. Sequence of returns risk. If you retire at 45 and the market drops 35% in your first 2 years of retirement, your portfolio takes a hit before compounding has had time to heal it. This is called sequence of returns risk, and it's the biggest mathematical threat to early retirement. The solution is keeping 1 to 2 years of expenses in cash so you never have to sell stocks during a crash. Identity. This one surprises people. Work gives most Americans structure, social connection, and a sense of purpose. When you retire at 45, you have potentially 45 more years to fill. People who retire without a plan for how to spend their time often go back to work within 2 years, not for the money, but because they didn't realize how much of their identity was tied to their career. Plan the life, not just the number. Not everyone needs to retire at 45 or live like a monk to make this work. Early retirement in 2026 has 3 real flavors, and one of them probably fits your life better than the extreme version. Lean FIRE. Retire as early as possible on a minimal budget, typically under $40,000 a year. Requires a smaller number, a faster timeline, and a genuine comfort with a simple lifestyle. Not for everyone, absolutely works for some. Fat FIRE. Retire early but maintain a full, comfortable American lifestyle, $80,000 to $120,000 a year in spending. Requires a larger number, a higher income, or a longer runway, but the timeline is still dramatically shorter than 67 if you start early and invest aggressively. Barista FIRE. This one is the most practical for most people.
You reach a point where your portfolio can cover most of your expenses, but not all. You leave your full-time corporate job and take a low-stress part-time job that covers the gap and, critically, provides health insurance. You get your time and flexibility back decades early. You don't need the full number to start living differently. This is the version that's quietly changing thousands of American lives right now, and almost nobody is talking about it on the internet the way it deserves to be talked about.
Here is exactly what Marcus did in his first 30 days. You can do the same thing starting this week, regardless of your income, your age, or how much you have saved right now. Step 1. Calculate your retirement number. Add up everything you spend in a year. Multiply by 25. Write that number down. That is your target. That is what freedom costs. Step 2. Calculate your savings rate. Divide what you invest every month by your take-home income. That percentage tells you exactly how many years you have left. If you don't like the number, you know what to do. Step 3. Build the 3-account stack. Capture your full employer 401k match. Max your Roth IRA, $7,000 in 2026. Put every remaining investable dollar into a taxable brokerage in VTI or a comparable total market fund. Step 4. Audit one expense category this week, just one. Housing, transportation, food, or subscriptions. Find the number you can cut and redirect it immediately to investments. Don't wait until next month. This week. Step 5. Do not touch it. Do not check it every day. Do not sell when the market drops. Do not pause contributions when things feel tight. The discipline is the strategy. The strategy is the wealth. Derek retires at 67. He's healthy, he's happy enough. He looks back at his career and feels like it was a good run. He just wishes he had a little more time. Marcus retires at 43, 2 years ahead of schedule. He spends his first year learning to cook properly, traveling for 3 months straight, and starting a small woodworking hobby that turns into a side income he never needed but genuinely enjoys. He works because he wants to, not because he has to. That is a different kind of life. Neither of them is wrong, but only one of them made a decision. The other one just let it happen to him. Retirement is not an age, it is a number. And now you know how to find yours. If this video made you think differently about your timeline, share it with one person who needs to run these numbers. And subscribe to Chris Finance, because the next video is going to break down exactly how to pick the right index funds for every stage of this journey, and the one mistake that costs people tens of thousands of dollars over time that almost nobody warns you about. The math is on your side. All you have to do is start.